The light is working out better than I thought. I wanted to link one light to the wire, one light to the other, but I thought I had to run wires to it. Look at that. One light plugs directly into the other, and the third light then will just plug straight in there. So I'll have one solid beam of light going down the kitchen. I've got my dust mask and all on now. I've tied the kitchen up a bit, get rid of all the tools I don't need. I'm going to get the washing machine in here today now, and I'll cut out the socket. But I was just trying this wee tool here. I just bought it no time ago. Didn't think much of it, but I was just trying this to cut through the plaster. And it's okay, it's less dusty. Because it's small, the dust just all falls down there. And I'm just trimming it away now where the SDS drill. That's okay going through the plaster, but once I start going into the brick, it'll probably take off chunks anyway. But once I go into the brick, I'm going to use a small drill bit, a big drill bit, go on the old fashioned way. All them fancy tools I bought didn't work. I did the sockets, made a mess. So I'm doing this the old fashioned way. So that is pretty neat there. I'm doing the plaster. Not too loud. You can see it when I hit the brick. When I hit the brick you can see it. But all the time how stick your feels like. If I cut here, you see it's beautiful there. It's not the fastest like. You get the idea like. Don't think it's a very good tool. Not for the money like, I don't think it's many uses. Whenever I can go down, I'll just cut every so often. That just falls off the floor. But I say, I'm doing this with one hand here. You get the idea like. Should just fall off nice and neat. Strictly speaking, going by the DIY brick I have, you can bury cables in there. And I did that in my old house. The plaster doesn't need them, the cables where it used to. That's okay for tying over it. But you don't want people coming with wee panel pins and get into a cable. So I'm putting the conduit in here. I'll have to dig a lot deeper. And then if somebody comes along and used to come and say that wiring's not right, you don't have to rip the whole house apart. Just pull the flakes out. See, you never know what you're going to come across. There's the lintel. I don't really want to chisel on the lintel. There's a metal plate. What's the metal plate holding on to? But like, you meant to have your switch at the door. I can't put the switch away in there. But I'm not going to cut into the lintel. I'm saying that is a bungalow. Not a big lot of width in that lintel. I'll go on about the depth of the brick. I'll go on a wee bit. So I think for this here, I'm not bothered putting the conduit in. I'll put the bare cables down there. Maybe dig in a wee bit deeper, but I'm not going to weaken the structure of the house by going into the lintel. I'll never bang a nail on it. And if you do, I see these and I'd a trip. Although I was saying that, I'm not sure if a lightning circuit trip. There's always something. See, they don't show that on YouTube, do they? That lintel could go way back there, like. You're not to put a flex sideways. Everything you go to do is a problem, like. I've had why problems this project getting answers from internet. You type in a word, it gives you one line, and it takes you the whole pile of nonsense. So after lintel, only one says you can go 10 to 20 centimeters into the lintel, and then you have to pay to read the rest of the information. It tells you it's not advisable and all the rest and all blah 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 blah, but at the end of the day you go 10 to 20 centimeters in. So you don't know if it's right or not, but there's nothing else to tell you. So that's only 5 millimeters. I'll take off that to be 5 millimeters. A bracket, what's a bracket there for? They tie the lintel on with a steel bracket. See, in America roofs are pulled out because of hurricanes, and the Americans tie down their rafters. So that must be tying down the rafters on the roof. That tornado's taking it off. So I can always bring the flex round here a wee bit, as long as I'm not out past here. I'll bring the flex past that piece of metal. I'm not cutting that metal. Now to turn it off, there's a mesh that joins a plaster together, and see when you take a plaster off, it's way hard, it's breaks and breaks and breaks. So the fact that we tool cuts that mesh underneath, that is a handy job there. So it's turning this off now with the SDS drop. I need glasses. Now. That's going to have to be left here. The other thing about the flat plunger. The flat stuff I found there better. Just this knuckle. That's the knuckle there now. It's barely covering that. I had to scrap the flat stuff. When's the drilling mode now? Let's see how that comes out. Try that piece spiky boy. I get harder as I go up. I'll drill a hole in the middle. first I see you turn the drill, blows the dust. So I turn the drill, blow the dust in the eye behind the glasses. There's that much crap on, like, take the glasses on tight. What happened there? It's 5 hour whip down there. Not far back then, are you? You wouldn't think a wee hole would take such a long time. Right, I ain't got another one. That's not no funny in the water about half time here. Right, but I'm hoping to bend round it. Oh, that wee metal bracket. It bends round like so. We tape it off there. It's going to be hard to find that on the attic. It's right under the eaves, under the whole fiberglass. Just needs a wee neck taken off here. Not a good foot. When I wear the glasses, I can't see off. That is, I need just sharpened off a wee bit there. Up in the attic there. Pull these out. There's the lintel there. I just scooped it. Partly knocking off it. There's the lintel start. So it's not going to be deep there, but it's held there and it's held there deep. There's the bracket holding the roof on. That's done at the fadeaway. And get this back box screwed on and get it in place. See, I don't want to smash it, I don't want to re-plaster the house by keeping it neat, plaster that wall. So I'm going to go over this here again here. I'm going to try painting this rather than tiling. So I'll go over that now again with plaster, sand it down, go over again with plaster, sand it down. It's very easy to sand down. You never get it dead flat the first time. If I was tiling it, dead on. But I wanted to tell me tires on the way out. So I don't know. That there just cut out now. So to get all the cement and dust all finished today, I'm going to get the washing machine wired up. The washing machine's pretty flat at the back, but you got your wastewater that side. You've got your water going in that side. If there's a potential leak, no matter where you put a socket, it's going to have a chance of getting wet. So what I'm going to do now, you're not to put a flex diagonal. It has to go left and right, up and down. Your socket can't be a certain size from the sink, so that determines how far back it goes. So once it gets to there, I'm not going to bury the cable. It's behind the machine. I am now going to go sideways. So the cable will not be buried, it'll be sitting loose. I'm not even going to plaster over the cable. The cable will just be sitting loose inside the wall. I'll still chisel the plaster out, I'm not going to chisel the wall out. I'm going to bring it across. The back of here, that I might move that to the out piece whenever the sink's in. I just stuck it on there so it doesn't get lost. But that'll make better sense if it's out the ways. The cold had to go on top, the hot had to go underneath, because that's how the pipes come out from behind the bath. Nothing I can do about that. But the dishwasher wants cold water, so the idea of the cold would have been handed over here. But whenever I put the T-junctions on to go under the sink, I haven't bought the sink yet. Might get one in IKEA. I have two sinks there. A brand new one I bought 12 years ago on a sale. It's down in the attic. And then the one that came with the niece's old kitchen, it's 4 years old. I'm not going to use them. I'm going to buy a new sink. I want a deeper sink. So there'll be a T-junction coming off this, and then the pipes go in there, screw on it. The waste is also, the waste for the both machines is going into the trap of this as well. So I think I'm going to run a wee board, stop things falling down. But I'm only bringing the board up as far as here, so you can still get access to all the connections. So if I knew where the sink was going to go, that could be higher. I don't know where the sink's going. So I had to err on the side of caution and say, well, that's probably alright there. But it's probably a bit on the low side. Originally I just thought I could just cut a hole in it, in the backboard, and bring the board on up. I can still do that, but now I'm going to put the sockets in here. And then again, if I put a socket on the wall here, the sink's directly above. So if I put it too high, you won't get it plugged in with the bowl of the sink. Put it too low, it's behind this. That's the minimum now. This is how you have to work things out, like. So that's the minimum I'm able to cut it. And what I'll do then, I'll just cut a circular hole on the side of that. You pop your plug in through the hole and plug it in, and then you switch it off and on up here. And when this side piece is on, it's the same again. There'll be a hole cut. You run the side panels coming down here. There'll be a hole put there. Because that comes out, you will not see that pipe. And I'm putting curtains on here. You see how tight it is to the wall? There's curtains on, you're not going to see it. But it makes it easy putting the pipes on. Instead of, so the machine can go in, you put in your cables and pipe each side, pull them tight, push the machine in tight. You don't have a machine sticking away out on the floor, like most people do. So I'm not even going to bother counting sinking these. I'll stick it on there, like. I'll just drill that on there and drill the other one on over here, and that'll wire up that other switch. So I'll chisel a wee bit of plaster out. I'll take the plaster off where the socket's going, but I'm not going to bash into the wall. So to get it down halfway, it'll be neat, and then the cable will go on a wee rubber rings and all they put on that. What a box of them, gee, I didn't use them. No need for it. What I done with the other sockets was I put the conduit straight in through the hole. The hole's not knocked out in that. I put the conduit straight through the hole about a couple of millimeters. So there's no need then for the rubber things. I thought it'd be a better job rather than stopping the conduit short and then maybe a bit of plaster would get stuck in it. So that's the next job now. I'll mark these out here and chisel a bit of this plaster away. And I'll use this wee tool again. So that wee tool is handy for taking plaster off. It has its uses. It hasn't got many uses right now. You know, for the price of it, price of cordless drill, the amount of work you do, price of SDS drill, the amount of work to do. SDS drill is your best investment. About £50. And you save a fortune in drill bits. When you fancy Black & Decker and Bosch electric drills, you pay a fortune in drill bits. They're a bit bigger and heavier right now. But so we'll keep it out a wee bit, more or less. Make it handy for this tool. I always fancied an instant hot water tap as well. This sink I'm looking at in MFI doesn't have a hole for the taps. You have to drill the hole yourself, which I think is handy. Because by drilling the hole yourself, £10 for the bit, you don't have a blank plate at the front. It's easier to clean. And if I ever did get a wee instant hot water tap, I could always drill another wee hole. I almost made a mistake over there. I was putting it level with them. But by the time you put your 13 amp plug in, this backboard's sitting out here. And if you put your 13 amp plug in, the flex might catch. Now it might go behind, or it might catch, I don't know. So I'll put up a wee bit to be on the safe side. I'll do the same now with this one over here. The good thing about this wee tool here, an angle grinder, would have to go too high, that's how I do it at the start. But this here, you can turn it so you can keep the top straight. So we'll try this one now and you'll see the idea. The top itself. And keep it nice and square. Put it upside down, that's what. hardly turn off with one finger. And then just get the can, go in, have the wee chop. I'll do this with one hand, you get the idea. I'll have to finish off with two then. But I had a wee chop. You get the idea, like. So I'll clean that off now using two hands. And I countersinks it a wee bit, like. A wee bit tight, that'll bang in with a hammer. And then I'll draw on the lines there with cutting the plaster out. And then we'll join it on to over there. And I'll wire it up. Have to turn the electric off in the house for that. These sockets wired up now. See, I'm not going to bother burning that plaster. I don't know. See, the only thing I was thinking then, but there's no way around it. Wherever you put a socket behind a washing machine, if water leaks, it's going to squirt all over the place. It doesn't really matter. But I was thinking, maybe I should have kept it and curved it up the way. So if water came, hit the flakes, but get it anyway. Just test these now. There's no need for switches on the like of these sockets, so I had to switch it on here now. See where so that'll just be left on all the time. You could have got ones without switches, but it is what it is. So that's wired up right, that one there now. So then whenever you get your washing machine, I'll put this cabinet now, we'll drill a hole at the side and then just drop the plug in. That'll be the dishwasher. Well, that's wired up correctly. And I haven't touched on the other wiring. That's all the same, like. That's another job done. What I forgot to do, I packed all the drills. You see, when you do different jobs and DIY and stuff, you don't want to be going electrical, plumbing, with all the same tools kicking around. So I read up all the tools. There's nothing in now but electrical tools, because it's too much crap. I tried to hoover, but what I forgot to do was drill a hole here for the back box. That's a bit deep, that hole there. Like, that's how a tool wouldn't work right. So I might have to put some filler behind that. We'll see. See how it's not very rough. I got fed up doing that. The tool I got, I made a video on it. The tool was useless. Useless. So get this cabinet back in again. And put the washing machine over it. I'm going to do a temporary connection there now, so I can run the machine here. I'll be happier whenever the machines are connected on, because they're very easy knocked on there. Just touch it all and the water will be squirting out. Maybe I could jump up against that with a ball and the place will be flooded when I come home. So we'll get this unit done. That's as far as I've got now, like. I'm taking the backboard up as far as there. The shelf will go slightly lower. The shelf will go slightly lower, so it'll stop things falling off behind. But a lot of things you can't change. The grey waste pipe at the back, that's where it has to go. Couldn't go any lower. Couldn't go any thinner. If I took the wall bracket off, you get it in another couple of millimeters, like. But look what's happening here now, look. The actual waste pipe of this washing machine is coming out where the grey pipe is. But what I'm looking at here, if I get this IKEA sink, I have to buy a drill bit to drill through the metal for the taps. £10, comes with a wee kit. But I'll tilt this machine back here. You see this? I do things a lot of people wouldn't do. There's inside the machine there now. There's the pipe going out. There's the water pump. That pipe's actually going downhill. I would say I could drill another hole. I can't point it because I'm holding the machine up here. I could drill another hole an inch higher and slightly to the left and exit that pipe slightly higher and get it above that grey waste pipe. And that would get the machine in at least another 1.5 centimeters. Now I haven't tried to see how far it sits out, but for the sake of 1.5 centimeters, you see that there? I can raise that up. The machine sits out here, you see. But see, the grey pipe may put in a bit of that too at the bottom. But there's no way I could have got the pipe lower. If I get that bit, I'll try it anyway. I won't put it too high because you don't want water to. If water does sit in it anyway, because it goes uphill, so water will be sitting in it. If I get the bit, if I get the sink and get the bit, I'm drilling a hole in the back. So I'll push this in now, and when I push it in now, you see the cables and the flashing come behind this side. Whenever I get the side panel on here, I'll have the same again. I'll have a wee hole, so the pipe can sit out here. If you might look at that gap there now, like if you had a pipe sitting out there, nobody's ever going to see it. Too small. And then when I hang the curtains up, with the big curtains each side, I want to keep the heat in the winter time. Then you're not going to see no pipes in there on the tabletop. So I'll push it in now, and I'll put a wee offcut with a tabletop and see how far it sits out. So the machine's sitting crooked deliberately because I want to see how tight it can go on. If it sits straight, it's still under the tabletop. Bearing in mind the tabletop sits out. I don't know if I would cut that tabletop back or not. But you see that side there now, there's no grey pipe coming out. That looks a lot better there, doesn't it? So I'm going to draw a hole in the back and hire that pipe up. She's touching the grey pipe and out the back. Away in there, you can see it touching the grey pipe. That's the machine touching the pipe. So it's actual pipe coming out of this, hitting the grey pipe that's holding it out. That wee bit. So you see the difference? Twice the difference. So I'm going to drill the hole higher, raise that up. And there'll be another panel put in here. But I'm not going to put a panel the whole way. I'm only putting a panel in the front piece. See these panels here? I'm only putting one of them at the front where it shows. And that means then that I can wriggle the machine. Well, there I have a panel there, I don't have one there. I can wriggle the machine in and out, but at the front it should appear tight whenever it's finished. So be professional once it's finished. Professional looking. Recording this with my mobile for handiness, but it's very hard to do it and knock it off. There's a broad spirit level bar. You don't need a spirit level, all you need is something straight. So what I've done then with the spirit level was to see the pencil mark. So I stood up on the ladder and I put the spirit level against one wall and I marked the line in the middle of the door. And all I have to do then is walk down. Well, are your toys everywhere? And mark it. But bear in mind that the walls mightn't be straight, so you might get difference. So what I'm going to look for now, you get the wee cable chalk line. So I'll a wee mark down there. If I can find my chalk line, it's a piece of string with chalk. You get one person to hold it, and the other person holds the other side, and you snap it, and you get a nice wee line. Then that allows me then to put the wee brackets for these here, and you just snap on place. So I'll look there for the chalk line. I have a wee toolbox out there of tools that's never used. Probably the chalk will be as hard as rock, you know. But we'll see what happens. If not, I'm going to have to draw a line. So I have wee lines at random. But the problem with drawing a line is if your walls are slightly crooked and you measure it out, it might be dead straight. It might wobble a bit, but to ruin the whole look, it needs to be dead straight. Ceiling rose has to come off then. And pull the wires up into the attic. And then the wires come from the end of this. But more plastering to be done. Because I'm here in my one now, I found the chalk line. That chalk line, 25, 30 years. Way back when I started DIYing. You get them all cheap enough now, but the chalk's all dried up. You put your chalk in there, brilliant job. But what I'm going to do now, because I have to draw a hole in the ceiling here, so I'm going to staple that on. So you don't have a chalk line, I'm going to staple it on. Not if you're an volunteer, but because I don't have an volunteer, I'm going to staple it on. And then when I get down there, I'll staple it on. And then it doesn't matter if it's just using the line for a straight line rather than the chalk. But if you had a chalk line, two people, you hold a chalk line, pull it tight, snap it, and you end up with a nice wee line. Brilliant, brilliant wee tool. But if the chalk line works, then I'll staple this side to hold it, and then I'll snap it and see what happens. Chalk line stapled on, so yeah, staple gun. And I should be able to pull that now gently if I pull the staple out. Climb up the ladder. I'm going to leave the staple gun down here. I'm going to try and snap the line first to see if it works. because people want to know how this is done. So you don't have to hold on to the thing itself. You can just, basically you hold it in your hand and you hold it up to the wee line. See, I tell you, it's impossible to do. You hold it with the other hand. See where the line's tight now? By pulling the line down with your other finger. Let me see what I'll try here. And you let it snap. There's a wee line there, boys. So there's a chalk line now. Works, that's all them use, boys, eh? Alright, if you buy one of these now, you normally get a bottle of chocolate. I don't mind getting a bottle of chocolate with that one. So there you are now, there's the wee line now. And now all I do now is mark out each light fitting this. As you see where that there's off. So if I was to go by the distance from the wall, you can see how the lights are starting going crooked. See the pencil line up there? And that's why you need a string. You can't go by walls. The walls are plastered by they're plastered with plasters, and they don't do it straight. So we'll give that a go now. There's my light installed now. I have to wire it up. So that ceiling has to come off, so I'll wire under extensively in the meantime. I'm pleased with that. Daylight white. I wouldn't use daylight white anywhere else in the house, but with the white glossy kitchens, them lights are completely covered in plastic. The whole kitchen's still covered in plastic. I'm leaving all the plastic on until the walls are painted. Then once all the painting's done and the roof and all is painted, then I'll peel the plastic off. You can see the plastic on there, like, see it'll be a bit wrinkly. So all that plastic can be peeled off later. So whenever the plastic's peeled off, everything should be a lot brighter and shinier. That's a brilliant light there, you know. You don't need no lights or them things. It's only more for decoration. It's lighting up the roof pretty well too. I forget I'm looking for the lights they sell on Little. They would do that, they're nice and flat. I don't want to know lights sitting down. They had wee flat ones the last time. I have a couple of the older style ones. Cooker still has to be wired up yet. I just stuck the switch on there. Have to get that. I'll glue that in. That box is a bit deep, so I'll glue it in and then I'll plaster it then. It's too hard to try and screw it on. And then whatever. So that needs to be dried, and then I'll put the electric in there. Do that tomorrow.